Corruption. We have a Pathfinder that is... Okay, wait. I'm just going to look through these things. Level 232. I can already see that. Boom. What are you aiming for right now?
So I'm currently in the stage of like duoing, trioing Lomian, and I'm trying to get past that and start doing Lucid parties
Mm-hmm.
eventually. But it feels like I've kind of like hit a wall in terms of progression, I guess. In terms of gear, I did get a big boost in stats recently with the cubing sale, but I'm just trying to
Mm-hmm.
see where to go from there on in terms of building my legion, what armor or gear to work on.
Mm-hmm. Have you tried soloing the bosses as well and see how far you got?
Yeah, so just yesterday after I got my boost in gear, I just loaded Lotus. I got through phase one and then I just kind of got bored and left. When I do Damien, I can a lot of times when I do it with my friends, I can survive with 8, 9 lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just a matter of how much time I want to invest in practicing solos.
Yeah, so to one extent, the thing that you will find when you start going from a team fight to a solo is that you'll have to pick some moments where you can either be safe or you can do damage and be a little bit less safe. So you
Yeah, I
probably
did.
noticed
Yeah,
that with Vellum as well, right? Like in the beginning, it's very easy to kind of survive the whole boss fight if you just jump away from him when he does anything. But then you can,
yeah,
but then you
yeah,
don't kill him, right? So it kind of
yeah,
works the same way with the other bosses as well. You gotta like pick your battles, and you gotta pick different battles within the battle, depending on if you're solo or if you're two or three people, of course.
sure.
But yeah, so depending on that, I was just wondering if you tried solo, so I could use that as a gauge to see how close you could be. Because in general, I tell people like if you could solo three door and you're close to soloing CVL, you can probably be, you have the IED and everything, and you practiced Lotus and Damien, then you can be a solid member of those bosses. And kind of the same way, if you're like close to soloing them or able to solo Lotus and Damien, then you're kind of close to, provided you have the arcane power, to being able to be an active contributing member to Lucid runs.
Yeah,
And Pathfinder has the added bonus there that you have a bunch of stuff flying around, so you have some extra clear speed for the golems as well, which is nice to have. Teams tend to lack that when they start Lucid. They tend to lack
yeah,
golem clear, and then once it starts snowballing out of control, your run is dead in the water pretty quickly. So you want to have like Cannoneer, Lumi, Pathfinders, Kanas who are focusing on it. Like, yeah, you want to have a few of these classes that are kind of a little bit more looking out for clearing the golems. So yeah, you're in a good
yeah.
position for that.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know
Um,
that. Yeah,
yeah, so they're limited to how much damage they can take per hit, right? So the
yeah,
more instances of damage you have, and the more stuff you have flying around and hitting everything, the more passive golem clear you generate, and just the more lines you have, the more active golem clear you generate. And some classes are very much single target oriented, so they completely don't help the team at all when it comes to golem clear. And because you have the limited, the certain amount of times you have to hit them, you can't pass through them. When a dragon comes off the side, everyone's stuck in the middle and dies, and then your lives can get, you can start losing a lot of lives very quickly. So yeah, it's very important to have a balanced Lucid team. So you'll be in a good position for that. So what's your current setup? Do you have like one farming kind of? So you have a level 208, but I don't know.
I'm like really passively working on a farming kana. It's like 208 right now with gear. So it's like passively leveling it up. And then I'm potentially waiting for DMT. Maybe I'll just pump it up at that point. But right now I'm
Mm-hmm.
enjoying farming, grinding on my main.
Yep.
Um,
You're just using
yeah. So
totems and.
yeah, using totems, because I haven't been eating more than 30 hours a month yet.
Yep.
So the return on investment of Akana hasn't shown
Yep.
yet, so I've been fine with it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's good. And so you just spent money on the cubing. So how much do you have left at the moment?
I just spent money. I think I have about a little bit over 300 mil after Ursus last night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're just doing Ursus Maple Tour and
Yeah.
training and
Every
then
day.
selling some boss
Yeah.
crystals, and that's pretty much it for now.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. So the short-term goal is to be member in Lucid, and then eventually up to 250, and then hard bosses, I guess.
Yeah, I'd love to do some hard bosses because I have a good friend and he's already doing hard Lotus, hard Damien.
Oh yeah,
I'd love to eventually do stuff with him. So I want to advance, obviously. Yeah.
yeah. So hard Lucid, hard Will, hard Damien, hard Lotus, those kind of guys.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Good. How are you with kind of like the basics when it comes to like flames, transfer hammer, IED, inner ability, transposing?
Um, I thought I had a good understanding, and then I started watching your stream and learning a
Mm-hmm.
lot more,
Mm-hmm.
and looking at the videos. But yeah, I think I'm getting to the point where I'm pretty comfortable. Like when I'm looking at flames, I'm looking for tier 6 and tier 5s, a couple of those, and IED. I looked at your calculator for functional and visual. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to learn more about all of those. Yeah.
Okay. Because I saw you don't have any hyperstats in your IED.
Oh, so yeah, sorry. That was just because I had a training session last night, so I just took out all my IED.
I see.
But usually I have that up, so I have a visual of 92,
Mm-hmm.
visual 92, and then functional hovers around 94, 95.
9495, yeah. Okay, that's perfect. Okay. So you put it in experience
Yeah,
when you're
all in
training?
maxed out experience, maxed out damage, attack, just so I could grind out
Yeah.
at CLP. But yeah, usually I have IED and boss damage. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because those are pretty much completely useless when you're training out. I mean, that's something that's already like a little min-maxy that a lot of people don't do. But yeah, if you get in the habit of doing that, yeah, and moving your legion up to experience and everything, maybe with the size of your legion, it's not super useful. It's more moving around than actually is useful. But once you get presets with experience and everything, that can be.
Yeah.
You have 2 presets, because I saw legion in there twice.
Yeah, I have 2 presets. So one I use for bossing, and then one I use for training. But they're so negligible because my outer grid is
Yeah.
one line, so it's like whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't.
it's pretty
It's not.
small. Yeah. It's good to have the general idea already set up though, so that you can start building it out once you get more space to work with. All right. Okay. Okay. So the ID, you know all about that. You know also how to check. Well, I guess at this point, all of your bosses are just gonna have 300% PDR, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
If you be like wondering for other characters, if you go through the daily and weekly grid, I have links there to the wiki pages where you can see what level is the boss and what PDR do they have, so you know what level you want to be before you fight and how much IED you need if you're going to be fighting those bosses.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because we have the damage reduction based on level difference in Reboot, right? It's pretty massive.
Yeah. I think I went into Chaos Horntail on a mule once, and I just realized I messed up because I was hitting ones.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just hit one. Yeah, that's probably because you don't hit the IED. Yeah, you need at least what is it, 66? No, at least 50%. Yeah, at least 50% to hit
Yeah.
one
Probably
damage.
didn't have
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
probably also because of the codex being removed. Everyone took a little bit of hit in IED until the familiars and everything are back.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's I going with that? I was going somewhere with that. Oh yeah. That's one of the reasons why, even though Will isn't like a super difficult boss, and it's kind of nice to start practicing him early. Even if you get to the area where Will is, you get to a Sphera, which you will unlock pretty soon. You can't really start practicing Will that well yet because he's level 250, which is quite high. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you start practicing, just for the mechanics, just know that your damage is going to be absolute shit because you take like a 60, 70%, I don't know, reduction if you go in there at a low level.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're mainly going to be in there just to practice the mechanics rather than actually actually deal some damage. But it is a good if eventually you're going to be doing hard will and hard lucid. A lot of people kind of just like grind up to 250, and then it's like okay, and then they've done lucid a bunch of times, and then they can do hard lucid, because hard lucid is kind of this. It's actually easier because the golems don't take limited damage; they just take full damage. They have way more HP,
Oh.
but they take full damage, so they just blow up because everyone's super strong. And then the only thing is like the damage check at phase 3, right? Making sure that you get the communications there right. Everyone pops all their burst, and that you get all your damage done in the last 40 seconds for the phase 3. But then that's all pretty straightforward. But then a lot of people are like, oh, I'm doing hard lucid and we're clearing. Oh, let's do hard will as well. But then they've never practiced normal will, and then it can be quite a kind of like culture shock. I don't know, like quite a difference going from lucid that you've been practicing a while to like the mechanics of will, which are, I would say, quite a bit harder than lucid. So getting some practice in with normal will already, even when you're like 240 or 245, even when your damage isn't that great, so you can lay a baseline. I don't know if you've seen me do will fights before.
I probably in the background when
Yeah.
when I'm playing Maple Story, I have your stream sometimes on. Yeah.
Yeah, because mainly he has like a moonlight mechanic, and you build moonlight to activate it to basically help you out, to save you from situations where you would otherwise die. And in normal, you just have to get used to what those mechanics are and when to use it, and then you have to learn how to use it as little as possible, because once you switch to hard, you basically build no moonlight whatsoever. It's super slow, so you have to learn how to not to rely on that, so that every time you do need it, you can have it. But that's like something for later. In general, for Lucid, I don't know if you're looking for any advice on the boss itself or just primarily on how to get there.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I've been watching a lot of tutorial videos, just like how to fight it. But I'm curious, like, do you know if Pathfinder is more leaning towards like a burst class or a DPS class
Well,
for phase 3?
so burst and DPS would be seen as like the same. You would have like DPS or DPM would be more like the
Oh, I guess
difference,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
DPS.
so
Because I
like
know
more
that.
bursty, more like overtime, more like stable damage.
Yeah, because I know like the thresholds are like 3 trill and like 5 trill for burst, for a battle analysis. So I know
Really, is
that's
it
like a
that
longer
high?
term thing, but I want to know like how good my battle analysis should be before I start looking at
Yeah,
that.
sure. Oh, yeah, for going for hard. Wait, is it really 3 and 5? Wait, in my day it was like 2.5 and like 4. Damn,
I don't. I think three
damn,
and
they've been
five
going
were
higher.
the numbers my one of
Okay,
my friends
okay,
told
damn.
me.
I mean, it should be lower now because they recently slashed your HP by 24%.
Oh,
Um,
that's right. That's true. Yeah,
so it
yeah.
should be quite a bit lower now. I think, yeah, you'll probably be like somewhere in between. So you probably want to aim for like 3. I think once you hit 3, that you're probably solid.
Yeah.
But yeah, if the whole team is like hovering around 3 and you have like 1 or 2 people who are like quite a bit above that, I think you'll be fine. Like my party is super bursty, for example. We have 2 people who are at 10 and like I think 2 people at 8 or something. And we had like the platform break halfway, and one person wasn't even prepped correctly, and we had like half the timer left. Yeah, but it'll be a matter of like just practicing one run and seeing how close you are. But yeah, once you're like 3, I think you can start looking for a party. Just advertise yourself fairly. And if there's a Night Lord in there that has like an 8 trill burst or something, just know that you're not necessarily getting carried, because off burst that character does shit damage.
Yeah.
And your damage
Yeah.
off burst is going to be way better. You're way more stable damage because you're just constantly using deluge and blast, right?
Yeah.
Or burst or whatever it's called. And there's those little things flickering around, and especially also for normal in the beginning. Once you get your party that you're clearing normal with, and everyone's getting stronger and stronger, it's also possible that you just go over to hard with the same party, for example.
Yeah. No,
And
that makes sense.
yeah, and at that point, you're not really like testing each other super hard on how much damage you have, but more like as a collective, can we do it? And then
True,
if
yeah.
you carry your own weight and make sure that you keep upgrading and keep getting stronger along with everyone, then you should be fine.
Do you know anything about Easy Lucid in terms? I know it's like half the health, but
Yeah.
do you think it's worth trying to clear Easy Lucid at this point?
I guess you could do it as a practice for the mechanics, because I assume they have the same mechanics. Because it's always one thing to watch videos and to read guides on how to do bosses, but for me it's always kind of just like gibberish until I actually get in there and try it and fail like 3 times to figure out what the hell's going on. Like one thing that you probably want to do in the Pathfinder is save your cardinal torrents and use them to like up jump into up cardinal torrent to stay above the dragon, for example. Like you'll have to practice that timing and see, oh, when does the dragon come down? When does he start breathing? Like trying to like figure out how to do that properly. And you're going to mess up a few times. I guess you'd rather want to mess that up in a easy run than in a normal run. But I guess you could also just do practice runs, right? I mean, there'll be dragons there. But yeah, I guess if you have some friends who just want to try easy, I guess you won't be doing normal for a little bit, unless,
No,
I mean...
yeah, I don't think so. Unless it's like a carry, like sometimes my guild members will do like a carry for people like us. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say your pendants are like identical, but I think it's the same screenshot twice.
Oh, is it? Oh, my bad.
That would have been like a low. That would have been godlike
That
if
would've
they
been
were like
tricky.
exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. So you have a okay. So you have a real Abso 13. Sadly, 20% boss. That's always painful.
Yeah, that really. I mean, I got all of this, all the good gear I have right now. Basically, got it yesterday just so I could not look like crap on stream.
I see. Trying to
Yeah.
polish up
Other
the
guys
resume for.
got that free bill just to look presentable for you.
Yeah, it's better to get the mezzo all the way down and have some presentable gear. Yeah.
Don't want to show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I feel you. Okay. All right. And do you have like some kind of party already set up for Lucid, or is it just something you're going to be looking for once you get closer to like soloing Lotus and Damien?
Yeah, no Lucid party at all. In terms of like Lotus and Damien right now, I do like a semi carry with my guild master. So he just hops on his mule, and the two of us like duo trio it for 3 other people who get carried. Yeah,
I
that's
see.
basically yeah.
Okay. Let's see if my progression tab works at all for you. Let's see. So we have you at level 232. So that puts you in the like about 1/3 into late game. So like the middle stage would be solo Damien, Lotus, and party Lucid and Will. So that's exactly what you're working towards, and that's what is like 235-ish typically. So that's what you're working towards. So that part works. Arcane power is at 590. So you're like double that, half that. Yeah, that kind of fits. Your nodes and everything. How is that going?
I'd like them to be better.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
16, 15, 16. Do you typically use all of them? Like all of the boost nodes?
Yeah, so all of those skills I use, and the reason I have 5 right now is because I want to max out Burst and Deluge. Because the 2 perfect trios I have are only like level 15. Yeah, but ideally I would only need 4 nodes.
Oh really? I thought oh wait, I thought
And
you
then,
went
well,
for
eventually,
6 or
like
something.
very late game, I think I would get 6.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
4
I see,
is
yeah.
like ideal right now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because I remember my mom has a Pathfinder too, and I went through the whole thing with her as well. And then she accidentally like extracted 3 level 25s, so she had to remake them, and you know, it was a whole thing. Yeah, you get like no shards back for that, so that was really painful.
Dang.
She was
Well,
like,
I'm also I'm the guy who also disassembled his superior Golux belt. I don't know if you've
nice.
Yeah.
I remember someone in the chat saying that.
Yeah. I sent that. It's I still have PTSD from that.
Yeah, well, now you're just super careful every time, right?
Yeah, for sure. Every time I go to
Double check, triple check. Okay, yeah, but yeah, that's no, that's probably smart because that makes your Push your stuff maxed, so you get the level 20 and 40. And then the next thing, and then when you're bossing, do you unequip any of them for bossing to get your vicious
Yeah,
shot in there?
so I take off holy symbol,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm putting in my vicious shot, and then I take off I think one of the boost nodes for the green arrow thing.
Yep.
Just because I don't, I mean torrent. I think the one with torrent, I'm like I don't need that extra damage.
Yeah, it's more the mobility than the damage you use it for anyway.
Yeah,
Because you
so I
still
like
get the torrent debuff from using the combo burst, right?
Yeah, I always torrent into combo assault.
Let's see. I guess you would use torrent maybe for your hyper if you want the different mode, right? What is it that makes you move, right?
Yeah, it's like a semi teleport. So I use it
No, I mean
during loading.
you once you're in torrent mode and then you use your hyper, then you get like the machine
Oh, where
gun
you
that
move.
allows you to like
Yeah,
move
where you
around,
move.
right? Yeah. So you would use it
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that maybe as well, yeah. Okay, and use those two, yeah. I see that you're not prioritizing or not necessarily prioritizing vicious shot in your skill nodes. That is a
Yeah,
very
I mean,
important one to for bossing to get high leveled.
so I do have a question about like shards. Should I be
Mm-hmm.
crafting skill nodes or boost nodes? Because I did some sort of like statistical analysis, and when I craft node stones, the value is actually higher than
Higher.
35. So I've just been doing
Yeah.
node stones.
Yeah, for you that's higher because basically every single node, well, almost every single node that you can get will be one that you can use.
Exactly.
There's a
Yeah.
bunch of other classes that have a lot of junk lines in their boost nodes, and they'll end up extracting like between 40 and sometimes up to like 80% of their boost nodes that they get, and then it's not worth it. But for you, it's probably worth it to just go full boost node forging. Yeah, much of the later classes kind of just max out all their skills, and that makes it better value to go for nodes than to go for shards or to make them through shards, but rather make node stones. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would make sense. But the reason that I'm mentioning Vicious Shot is because not only does it like, I think Vicious Shot keeps the same duration, I think, but it transfers a much greater portion of critical rate into critical damage.
Yeah.
And then once you start stacking more and more critical damage with, critical rate with all of your sources, then Vicious Shot will make your burst quite a lot bigger. So within your boost nodes, I would definitely prioritize that one.
Gotcha.
Sorry, within your skill nodes. Sorry, just keep me up.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I mean, Holy Symbol is nice, but the percentages that you gain from it, if you look at the table, like how much do you gain when you level it up and everything, it's like 1% here, 1% every other level. And the Vicious Shot will definitely give you the edge you need to make your burst quite a bit harder.
Oh, so I do have a question about the experience nodes. So I have 5 from the pixel event that I'm saving up for the will skill. But do you think I should use any, like a few of them or any of them for any skills or like Vicious Shot or boost nodes, or just keep them for the will arachnid?
So I'll have like a slightly different take than a lot of other people on this. So the will skill does a lot of damage. It's very useful for both mobbing and for bossing, and it does quite a bit, like a decent chunk of your burst as well, just using it in your burst. However, when you're still building up, I don't think anyone like needs a level 25 will skill to be able to be in like any of the hard boss parties that you just mentioned. Like if you end up leveling it a little bit through doing like hard wills and getting it to level 5 or 6, and then maybe the next experienced node stones come around and you level them up there, then you'll just be slowly still building up your damage. But if your Vicious Shot is still level 7 and it can go all the way up to 30, like 25 and 30 if you equip it, getting all of the critical damage there to always be empowering every single burst, because you can use that every single burst, and you can also every bind, I mean. And the Arachno Reflection is only every other one, right? Because it's a longer cooldown. Even though like if let's say your party starts like struggling for a hard Lucid, and you're like really close. And then if everyone has a bunch of experience nodes and throws it into a Reckoning Reflection, that might be like the little bit extra that you need at that point. But I think that's only going to happen if your boost nodes and your important skill nodes like Fisher Shot are already maxed. Then it can start making a difference. So I would usually I would just advise, especially if you're still building up and you don't have the nodes, or you're already opening all the nodes that you have, I would throw them on skill nodes like Fisher Shot, or even on boost nodes, but only if you have tri nodes and you're just very low, like you're at level 3 or 4 or something, because that could essentially almost double your damage by just throwing a node on there. And if that makes your kill speed go from, if it makes you go from 3-shotting to 2-shotting, or maybe even to 1-shotting, depending where you are, you can end up making nodes much faster because of that. And then those nodes, But I get the backup, like hard will can only be leveled through the drops from hard will and through the experienced nodes, so they have a lot of value in there. But that skill isn't necessarily like the gatekeeper of reaching a certain point or anything. It's more like a min-maxy thing later on. So yeah, I'm not saying to do it. I'm not saying not to do it, but there's like the value of to consider.
No, it's a good different perspective, just because anyone I've asked always says do it for the arachnid skill, but I'm always like, I'm not even gonna really need that until I guess I get strong enough to that point. So
yeah, and the uptime doesn't change, like the summon duration doesn't change, so it's just the damage of the hits. And if you use it for mobbing, it's so strong that it usually already one-shots no matter how strong you are. So then for mobbing, it has no value, and then it really only has the value in like the 40-second burst on hard Lucid. And it's like, that's such a niche use, but when you use it on Vicious Shot, you're going to be using it on all your solo bossing, all your mobbing bossing. You're going to use it more often. I feel like you get more value out of it there. But,
do you know if buff duration works for 5th job?
Does not.
Like
does not.
Okay.
Otherwise, you would stack so much buff duration on a marksman and just like have split shot up 100% of the time.
Oh man.
And everyone would be a marksman, I think.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to now, where no one is for very good reasons. So what does work is cooldown reduction does work.
Okay.
So like hats with cooldown reduction, you'll see some people using that to be able to use their 5th job skills more often, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna do like all of the peripheral stuff and then go into the gear last, okay? So what's with the your Legion and your Lynx? How are you because you had some questions there as well. What's the current
Legion
situation?
I'm like sometimes very enjoying leveling up new characters, and sometimes I hate it. But just trying I've been basically doing sporadic leveling, like I'll level up an Evan to 70 and I don't touch it, and then like come back to it and level it up to 80 and then do other stuff. So I don't know, I'm not like super min-maxing the power leveling aspect of it. It's kind of like playing whatever's fun. Definitely have some more characters that are more prioritized that I should be leveling, but I just haven't been doing that. But hopefully I get to 3k Legion with the Terra burning and the 150 burning.
Oh yeah. So it'll be an extra 50, 150, so you're at 200. Yeah, and then it'd be like 30 levels off or something. Yeah, we have those potions as well, right? In the next shop where you can get some free levels.
Yeah, I think phase 2 it's like the new bonk potions, so I'm not entirely sure who I should use that on actually.
Well, the way it's looking at right now, maybe on level wise on the Ho Young, but like link skill wise, yeah, it's a good question. What were you thinking of mega burning?
Maybe marksman. Yeah, because I've heard you also say how bad marksman is for leveling.
Yeah, it can be not so fun.
I only need to get it to 140, so it'd be perfect. The Beast Tamer I'm Terra burning right now, so I want to get that to 210.
Yep. Okay. Pretty extra crit rate as well.
Yeah, for the link, and the crit rate's nice for Vicious Shot.
Yep. Critical damage.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just look at your link skills to see what you already have, so I can get a better idea. Do you have an Evan at all?
It's level 77. I
That's
absolutely hate
yeah.
training the Evan. Yeah.
wasn't
But
wasn't my favorite
yeah.
either. No.
Oh my god, the teleport is so bad. I can't do it. But I have a 140 Iran and 152 Mercedes.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So you have like one Cygnus blessing linked.
Yeah.
If you have
Yeah.
multiple, you can stack them
Yeah, I
together.
should do that.
And also, once you have the marksman and the bowmaster, you'll be able to link them in the same way with your top left link skill. It'll just
Yeah.
stack in there. Oh, actually, it shows up as level 3 for you. That's interesting.
Well, I have a level 70
Ah.
bowmaster that I just
That's where that's coming
haven't
from.
touched. Yeah, yeah. So I didn't show all of the links, but yeah.
Yep. No, it's fine, because it gets pretty big, huh? The Legion and the links, like it gets a lot.
Yeah, there's too many. I was like, I don't know if I want to take all
And
of that.
you don't even have like half the characters yet. There's still so many to go.
Yeah. I think I
But
have
yeah,
like 17.
yeah, it says here 1 out of 19 in your Legion grid. I don't think you have the
Okay, yeah.
you don't have the lab pieces or anything, right? I don't think you were playing when lab came out.
No, I started basically right after April Fools. I just remember there was like the April Fools hair events, and then I joined.
Oh, okay, so like a year and a little bit.
No, about a month or something.
Oh, the random coupons.
Yeah, the random one. I think
Yeah,
my
yeah.
friend told me about it, and they have like a boy haircut, even though they're
Yeah,
a female character.
exactly.
Yeah.
I was
was
thinking
like-
you meant this hair, like the hair that I have on my characters. That was from the April Fools
Oh, no,
before, where you
I-
could buy those wigs.
Dude, I wish I could get that hair. I've been trying to figure out where you got all of them.
Yeah, it's from April Fools from the year before, and you could just buy
Gotcha.
them from reward points in the cash in the reward shop.
Yeah.
You had
No,
like
I've
a
been
bunch of
playing
different styles.
Just over 2 months. Yeah, just over
Yeah.
2 months.
Okay, good progress then. Okay, yeah. So once you get to 3K, you'll be able to put 5 extra characters in Legion, and you'll have the extra grid. So then you'll have a lot more wiggle room. What I would say though is that you can probably get a lot of mileage out of boss damage right now, because your total boss
my
damage
boss
isn't
damage
that
is
high.
terrible. It's like
Yeah,
100.
yeah, 100.
Yeah, it's around 100.
And 30 of that is just base in your weapon, and 20 is potential in your weapon. So 50% is already just in your weapon itself right now. Oh, but you have more, right? Because that's with your hyperstats on training mode. So with your hyperstats switched, you'll have more,
No,
right?
it'd be like 131.
Yeah, like 130. And then, what's your secondary right now? Let's see. I guess we're getting to your gear at this point.
Yeah, secondary emblem not looking too great.
Where are they?
The weapon for now.
12, 30, that's okay. And then 935, oh, I see. I still need the IED. Max. Your functional now was 94 to 95, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, are the alerts malfunctioning again? Oh god. Twitch has been acting up, and sometimes the follow alert just goes off 20 times in a row.
Oh no.
For some reason. Yes. Okay, so when it comes to Legion, some things just need to make them kind of, because they're just so good, and you kind of have to just power through it. And in some of them, it's like, well, yeah, if you don't like it, you just don't make them, or you make them a lot later, or you just wait until there's a, you get it, like with the Evan, maybe if you really hate it, you just keep it where it is at level 70, and then you just wait until you have, your whole Legion built up more, and until there's a nice Mega Burn, and then you just up Mega Burn it to 150, and then you have the level 2 Link. There is a very good investment value in having that level 2 Link, though, because you can just link it to your other characters that you're training, even the ones that you might not very like, and then those will all just level up faster to build your overall Legion much faster. That's why those are ranked so high, not just because they level your main faster, but because they level everything faster, right?
Yeah.
So, Marksman, you would want to probably Mega Burn eventually, but I would probably say that despite you already having like a level, like either power through the Evan and try to get it to 140, or at least to 120, right? So you can unlock the level 2 Link. Or if you just really, really hate the Evan, you could just Mega Burn it as well, even though it feels probably like a little bit of a waste because it's only those 70 levels. If those 70 levels, if you hate those, like you don't want to hate your existence. So if you can burst through that all that much faster, then that might be more value for you right now. It's a little bit of an individual thing for you.
I might just go for the 120 because I think the way I see it is if I can power to 100 and Zakum my way up to 120, that might be.
Zakum, maybe a monster park here and there. That'll be very fast, yeah.
Yeah, but 140, I don't see myself going past 140 for that, unless it's really good fourth job. But I don't know.
It really like Evan is one of those characters that can pop off like much later. But in order to get there, you just need like very solid boost nodes and like solid funding on your character. And then once all of the little things that fly around that Evan can create or that Mir can create actually starts killing monsters one shot or two shot, then your farming rates actually go up pretty high and you become a very fast leveler. But it takes a while to get to that point. So yeah, that's probably, I didn't really like the combo system thing very much either. Like if you combo too quickly, you lose so much of your damage. If you combo too late, you just lose the connection altogether and you gotta wait for the cooldown, and yeah, wasn't my thing. Okay, let's okay, so but as long as you have like the general priority for your Legion, like in some kind of list in your head, and you're thinking about what to burn and what to Mega, what to Terra burn, then that's if you have the general awareness, or do you feel like you could use some help with that, or?
Yeah, I could. Like just looking at kind of making a basic list so I can choose from that list. That would be helpful. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so you have Mercedes, you have Aaron. Evan is pretty low. What about Mechanic? Do you have Mechanic?
Yeah, 140. Oh, I hated that too, but I had a friend who kished me, so he helped me a lot with that.
Absolute bit. You have a Phantom. I saw that. Marksman on the list. Do you have a Night Lord?
No, I don't. So none of the thieves and only one mage. So I heard they really work well together. So that might, I don't know if that works.
Yeah, the link skill. You probably want the mage link. That'll also pick up some IED. So the 3 mages are probably nice to level as well. These are typically, I don't know, if you're not much of a mage character, you won't really like them. They're pretty neutral in my opinion. They're not like super bad either, but they're definitely not amazing. That would be, I feel like in general, if you just in general you prefer grinding your main, just making like one level 60 noob character every day and then just focusing the rest of your time on your main, I found a very good way of just slowly, actually pretty quickly building up your Legion, because just 60 levels on a new character is actually pretty fast. But if you do that for like a week or two, before you know it, you've got like an extra 1,000 Legion. After like 2 weeks, you just have 1,000 extra, and then you can start building a bunch more characters. What happens is you start snowballing with those new characters as well. So your Legion starts growing. You can put more links onto those characters, especially now that you can switch twice a day, right? So you're not really restricted to being able to switch your links around. You can put all of your Legion towards that character with your second setup to to like promote extra damage there. And as you get more sources, you start building up your critical damage and your critical rate. Oh, now all of the critical damage is being applied, and your new characters start getting faster and faster. And getting a new character to level 60 gets faster and faster. Maybe you even want to get it to 80, or maybe even to 100 even. Of course, it's going to depend on how crowded it is, what time of the day you're playing. Apparently everyone's casting at Drakes now, so that's not that's not really a conducive, productive environment. But yeah, like maybe that'll just start going faster, and then your efficiency of your time will just start going up. And as your Legion is growing, you'll just feel it supporting your main character all that much more. But just making like a little bit of steady progress every day, I think goes a long way. Like within a month, you could be looking at a 5k Legion.
Wow.
Just from doing a little bit every day. So if you check !Legion, I have the third link there is kind of like some advice on how to build up a Legion quickly without it really feeling like a huge amount of work. So you could, so you could take the first part in like 3 bits or something. You could just go to 60 first, then maybe go to 80, then go to 100, right? Just like split it up however you want. And Monster Park just gives you a lot of experience on new characters. It'll detract a little bit from your progress on your Monster Park medal, which you do eventually want to do on your main. But it'll give you so many free levels on new characters. And then the last part you don't even have to do, right? Because that's 140 is like the main rule. If you get all the characters to 140, you're already at 6k, right? Because you'll just have a few characters above level 140, and it'll probably even out at around 6k already. And then you have the full grid. Then you have however many characters. How many characters do you have at 6k, guys? Is it like 30? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 28? 40? No. I mean characters you can put in your grid.
Oh yeah.
I think it's 28. Wait, let me check here. Control F 6000. 28. Yeah, there you go. Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Never mind, chat. I found it before you guys get it. There you go. 28. Yeah, people are confirming. Okay. So then you have 28. Instead of now you have 13, then you'll have 28. So now only do you have twice the characters, twice the coverage, but the characters' pieces will all be bigger as well. So you'll see a huge coverage. And then you'll be able to just get like a chunk of 40% boss damage, for example, which is just a whole extra potential line that you could, like prime potential line that you could have on a weapon. You just get that for free from putting your characters in your Legion. Not to mention,
could I also do that for IED? So I would get IED on Legion and then hopefully roll 2 line on my emblem and secondary. Is that?
yeah. Well, hopefully by that time the familiars will come back, right? And then maybe you can get lucky with that. If you can get a 40% line IED there or something, then that could totally take the weight off of needing IED in your Legion, and then instead you can just focus on critical damage, critical rate, and boss damage. Yeah, so that'll basically you're trying to puzzle all these pieces together, right? Like which link skills do you use? Which characters do you put in your grid? Where do you put them in your grid? How do you distribute your hyperstats? What do you do with your inner ability? And which skills do you use actively in your matrix? And all of these things you try to match together to see what the optimal solution is for your character. But of course, as you're leveling, like the balance shifts from one side to another. And like as you gain more and more levels, your hyperstats are going to become more and more important as well, because you can get big chunks of boss damage and of percentage damage there. And critical rate has very high value in your Legion actually. If you don't need the IED, then critical rate is just like 1 square is 1%. Like that's really good. But for example, if you can get to 20% crit line in your inner ability, that's super valuable for you, right? Because it translates to critical damage. It takes the pressure off of your critical rate in your Legion, and then maybe you can put it into IED if you still need it. If you don't need if you could put it in IED, then maybe you can take all the points from your from your IED away in your hyperstats and move it into more critical rate, more critical damage, maybe more boss damage there. So everything has its own respective value compared to each other. But that, how you distribute any of these is not set in stone, and it's going to fluctuate greatly. Just like you saw with your hyperstats when you're training, you're moving it around still, right? And that's something that's going to keep happening. So where did we start? We just completely got off the path. Okay, so Night Lord I think is one of those characters that's easy to level, very easy to just very approachable. It'll help up giving you critical rate in your Legion. So I think that's definitely one that you can just start playing and just like get to level 60, or however long it's fun. You did mention that before, right? Like you're still having fun grinding, so that's fine. So keep having fun. But I think that this is one of the characters that you can train very easily without don't have to do a lot of research. All you got to do is just buy some throwing stars and just jump and throw, and that's basically the character. It's very simple, very straightforward. Might be a little bit squishy early on, but every character can be at level 60. But just get in the habit of putting your link skills on the character, setting your Legion to the character, getting those Monster Park buffs, right? You do Monster Park every day?
Yeah, every day, and I only buy the tickets for Sunday's EXP, but yeah.
Okay. I would get into the habit of just buying them for every day, just to speed it up.
Yeah.
Because the value of the potions is insane, and if you combine that with certain experience coupons you can get. So for now, for example, like if you are doing points and with the stamps, you can get an extra experience coupon if you want.
Yeah, I haven't been utilizing that, but I should start. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, there's never just one thing, and if you do this, then you're home free. It's always a combination of a bunch of small things, and stacking them together is what makes it so good. Yeah, Beastam you're already working on. Bowmaster you have. Pathfinder you are. What about Hayato, Shade, and Jet? I didn't see any of those. Do you have those?
Hayato's at 120.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dreading the next 20 levels because it's so boring now.
Mm-hmm.
Jet is people told me not to burn a jet because it was easy to level, so it's on my list. And then Shade is far down the line. I haven't considered Shade at all.
Okay. Shade is also a class that's pretty straightforward, not super complicated, and gives you critical damage for your Legion. So it's also high value. So I definitely put that pretty high on the list.
Oh, okay. What about its link? What does the Shade link do?
Gives you 5 or 10% chance to prevent death if you have it activated.
Oh yeah.
So you can't really count on it, but sometimes it comes in very clutch and actually saves your run. But yeah, so if you have 10 lives, on average you will get 11 basically.
Yeah.
But if you're above average, then you could have it proc like 3 or 4 times in one boss fight, and actually
That would be very lucky. Yeah.
I think I've had it once like proc twice within 5 seconds of each other, and be like, holy shit, I should have died like 2 or 3 times there, and then just still alive. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But yeah, and then sometimes you don't see it proc for like a day or two. It's pretty random. Just going through this list, like Kinesis, do you have that one?
140. Yep.
Oh yeah, I think I saw it in the I think I saw it in links. Adele will be purely a bossing link.
Bossing. Yeah.
But that
or
could be
I looked
useful.
at Adele. I think isn't Demon Slayer still better than Adele at max ranks?
Yeah, so you won't prioritize it over Demon Slayer, but Demon Slayer is like way up there,
Oh, okay.
But they're kind of boss damage is here lower, quote unquote, because boss damage only works when you're bossing, and damage works also when you're mobbing. So there's like a priority for damage there, because basically when you're training mules and you can stack a bunch of damage on those, you can start leveling them a lot faster. And then if you get to the one that only gives you boss damage, when you're at your level, you're gonna want to start stacking a lot of boss damage, and that's when the Demon Slayer gets really good. But how can you get how can you level up that Demon Slayer fast when you need it? Well, by already stacking a bunch of damage that you can stack because you leveled all those characters already. So they kind of work together that way.
Yeah. What other damage link would you recommend? So I have the Kana and Demon Avenger. Is that I think Wild Hunter and Arc would be next.
Wild Hunter, Arc, yeah. Kadena would also be nice because you do a lot of debuffs, so that will help you a lot as well.
Yeah.
And then what you have to think about with Kadena, for example, is if you're going to do Will, then Kadena is not that good as long as you're lower level than Will. But you'll be higher level than Lucid very easily, so then it'll be very good.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's one thing to think about. I wouldn't take the Ho Young. As long as you need the ID, that's fine. But like the damage from the Ho Young is actually kind of shit, right? Because it's only 2 full HP targets, so for bossing it doesn't do
Yeah, I think
much at
yeah.
all.
So right now I'm like pseudo one-shotting CLP after the cube sale buff.
Yeah,
And I think Ho Young kind of gets me right over the threshold to basically one-shotting 90% of the time.
mm-hmm.
So I think that's helpful for now.
Yeah,
But eventually I probably won't need it because 10% IED it isn't enough. Um,
yeah. Eventually you'll get that from your medal, and you'll get more ID from other sources, and yeah,
yeah. No, but the
for
reason,
sure.
yeah, I thought I was gonna second main Ho Young.
Mm-hmm.
I'm considering that because it's just so fun for me. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I've been leveling it.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, yeah. If you can alternate some leveling something that's valuable for your account but not very fun with something that is very fun, then that way you can keep it interesting and keep
Yeah,
overall enjoying your experience. And then the other one I would say is the base the Explorer mages. Their
yeah,
combined link skill is good because it gives you ID and the damage.
yeah,
So those three, yeah. If you're not much of a mage player, then you're gonna have to power through it a little bit. But all in all, I thought it wasn't that bad because if you do all of these in this order, then those are gonna be already much stronger. If you put all your links, all your legion, you have the monster
yeah,
park buffs. You have maybe some event buffs. Maybe you have an experience coupon somewhere. Also, as you start building your legion, you're gonna get many more legion coins, right? You'll be able to buy those experience coupons more.
yeah,
Also on mules, and those big potions that give you half a level plus half an hour of 2x. Like those are expensive, but those are big value.
yeah.
Um,
Right now I'm like starving on coins. Every
yeah,
time I get coins, I just like spend it all, and then I'm already broke.
yeah. Yeah, I was in a fortunate position because I already had some characters built up when Legion came out, and when the release was of Legion, then the for the first month I think, or the first 6 weeks or something, all of the tier ups were at 50% off. So that really saved a lot of coins in the early days. But yeah, I mean, it would be nice if there was an event like that when there's like a lot of returning players to have like the tier ups at 50% off or something. That could actually be a good idea. That really promote people to play a lot of characters and build a legion. That's just like a mental note for myself, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, and then you'll have Demon Slayer Luminous. I don't know how far those guys are.
Sorry, hello, are you still there? I think
Yep.
I might have cut out.
Well, yeah, you cut out a little bit. Demon Slayer and Luminous. Do you have those?
Yeah, one sec. I'm gonna restart my Discord. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no problem. Hi,
Hello?
Kara. Yeah, hello.
All right, sorry, I'm back.
You're back. Welcome back, dude. So yeah, the other thing is, I don't know if you've worked on your resistance link skill with the invulnerability.
I have the one mechanic, but
Yeah.
kind of dreading blaster.
Mm-hmm.
And battle mage does look cool though, but again, it kind of dreading the teleports.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a big fan of telecasting either. The thing with battle mage is once you get this far down the list, the battle mage is so strong that you don't even have to telecast. You just have to just teleport, and the teleport itself is already enough to kill monsters. Basically, what I would do is you would get to the Drake map, and you would just like make like a rectangular figure of of teleportation, and just one shot everything with it because your character starts
Ooh.
getting so strong.
Yeah.
And then you don't even have to like get semi carpal tunnel from telecasting and pressing the same buttons
Yeah.
all over and over and over, and it gets a little bit easier. But yeah, like once you get to 4K Legion, you'll definitely start feeling the snowball, and all of this will start going way faster, and then it becomes more fun as well because it's not like, oh god, I gotta level another character, but it's more like, let's see how fast I can do this one, and you just blow through the levels,
Yeah.
blow through the areas.
Uh-huh.
It'll depend though on like if you have totems or if you have a friend who can Kishin you. We didn't really talk about it. I don't know if you have like possibly have a second computer you can access for Kishin or something.
Nah.
Okay.
But I do have like a good friend who like we kind of trade Kish once in a while, but
I see.
trying to figure out the new update. We're trying
Yeah.
to figure out how to work around that because
Yeah, you tend
AFK.
to
is better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit harder. Yeah, hopefully somebody comes up with some real smart idea other than just make your character naked and make
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
get it hit a lot. I think at some point
Yeah.
you, if you want to Kishin at low levels, you might even have to just make a completely new kana, or that's like really weak, or just like strip all of
Yeah.
your ability points, even like strip all of your intellect or something.
Oh yeah. That might. Yeah. I've been stripping my items,
Mm-hmm.
and like I died the other day at
Ooh.
Twilight Period while kitchening my friend.
Oh shit. Yeah, those actually
Yeah.
hit for quite a bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are not those are not friendly.
No.
Um. Yeah, here you get more into the bossing realm, right? So you get the resistance stack and then Demon Slayer Luminous, right, with the big IED and boss damage buffs, or big 20% each. Um, do you have a Mihile? Because I think knockback resistance can actually be pretty useful for you, right?
Um, I did think that originally, but I've noticed that I've just kind of dodged most people's like when Lotus does his pushback, I
Mm-hmm.
just triple impact that. So I haven't or
Right.
yeah, I haven't felt super need. I feel like I would really need it on my Kana because my Kana just gets slapped around
Yep.
when training. It's just so bad.
Yeah, for true. True. I mean, the pushback for Lotus is a knockdown, so not a knockback. So that wouldn't help you. This wouldn't help you with that
Oh,
anyway. It's more like when
oh,
like a monster like bumps into you, then you don't get knocked around. It's very useful, for example, in say like Chaos Papulatus. Let's say he's close to you and you have to block the laser close to him.
ah,
He has like a skill that can push you back, or he can like knock you around, maybe knock you into one of the clocks if you don't have knockback resistance at all.
that's happened to me. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
happened.
so
Okay,
that can help you
sweet.
there. For those
Mm-hmm.
boss fights, that can be very useful. Or let's say you're doing Damien and the sword flies around and just nudges you just to the right, just far enough into one of those big purple things, and then those things one shot you. Like that can happen
Gotcha.
as well.
Uh-huh.
Those are the things that you immune. It's usually like the small things, but those small things can fuck you over and cost you some lives. Um, yeah, that's just something to consider. But that's when you're more getting into the boss fights, where you're in right now, when you're thinking more of like the bossing utility and the general character utility, and not so much about those base stats, because you got most of those rounded out. Like you got your critical rate, your critical damage, buff duration. You got like those things. You already got those taken care of, and now you're more thinking about like now the serious bosses are coming around. So now that's why those links all come around at this point. But all these characters will be a lot stronger once you have the previous ones all done. So that'll be like the general order I would put things in, I guess.
Sure.
And then
Yeah.
after that, like everything that gives you dex, everything. Yeah,
Yeah. There's like three that gives Dex.
yeah.
There's
There's
so few.
yeah. I said everything,
Marksman
but yeah,
or
there's not too
archer.
many.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, 3, maybe 4 if you include the Xenon. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, see Bowmaster. Oh yeah, you and yourself. Yeah, if you don't include yourself, it's just 3 and then Xenon. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that would be the general order. I would do the links and everything in, and just if you start something and you just really really hate it, just put it into the into the mega burn pile, and just wait for a mega burn and then just power through it that way. But a
Gotcha.
lot of these characters will get a lot easier once you have all the buffs for them, and you'll start snowballing super fast. Okay, then we can finally get to the gear, I think.
All right. Let's do
Um,
it.
Although it's not, I mean, your gear is like a lot of stuff, but it's not to say that your gear is not necessarily the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a very important chunk of the whole, very important little, what do you call it? Like a cog in the big machine. But it's still only one of the cogs. Let's see. Oh, you have a knockback resistance of 1%. That's nice. That's
Hey,
right.
let's go.
Does it? You get one of those shells around you that can give you temporary knockback resistance, right?
Um,
Because
don't know.
that skill is always like a little bit mysterious. One of them is like a party shield.
Yeah, one of them, or my fifth job's shield, right? There's a
Mm-hmm.
big shield that works for everyone. Then there's like a personal one that I use that only works on me.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the one that I can move around, but I just use the big burst one because it looks cool and helps anyone that's in it. Yeah, it is helpful.
Is
'cause
it the red
does,
one?
Yeah, the big red one.
Yeah, that
'cause
one looks the
like I
coolest.
use
You're
it
right.
in Gallix. When I do Gallix, I just tank the hand.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Lotus, yeah.
Yeah. Or you can tank the well, you don't want to tank the laser, but because it hits pretty quickly, you want to move out of it still.
Oh yeah. Just stand there, tank the laser. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they used to do that with battle mages, right? You just get a hard Lotus and just get 2 battle mages, put 2 of those big domes down, and just tank the lasers completely.
Oh.
Yeah, there was some weird shit that they would do. Even then, it was a hard boss though, because there's so much stuff flying around.
Yeah, it's so glitchy.
Yeah, that too. Especially the more people you have, the more desync and everything. Yeah. Okay, so what have you focused on? What are your? So these are the 4 rings that you're wearing. 5, 6. You got
Or
6
the
rings?
first one is a backup. Sorry, first one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the synergy. Yeah.
Yeah, the synergy. I put that on for the mesos when I need it,
Meso, yeah.
and then I have the 4 equipped.
Triple XP. This one's damage. This one's damage and Meso. That's always nice to have 2 line decks with Meso. Then you don't have to choose. You can just always wear it.
Yeah, that one I was really nice to get the 20 mesos and 21 decks. That was just like perfect.
Yup. What are you flaming right now when you have any of those?
So I just spent like 20 red flames and like 3 eternals I got from bossing all on my weapon and got nothing. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that was one of the things I was gonna say. Like, you definitely can get some higher attack there.
Yeah. I got 77, but no other lines, so I just kept rolling. But I'm looking for like tier 6 plus tier 5/6 at least. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be 77 attack with like 10 boss or something like that, right?
Yeah. So that's what I was hunting for, but
Yeah.
only got 77 attack alone.
Yeah, that can be tricky. Let's hope you luck into that pretty soon. But yeah, that would definitely be the priority, I think, to flame right now. That's a bunch of extra attack that you can definitely use.
Yeah.
You got reinforced belts.
Yeah, lost the superior, so that's
Yeah. Well, this one will have to do. It's still pretty good, like 20 base attack. It's still pretty decent. 35 would have been nicer, of course, but
yeah.
I
mean, I'm doing Helix every day still, so
okay, that's
hoping
good. That's
for
good.
another drop. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a nice flame here. What's the situation with sweet water stuff? How are you?
So I have the monocle and the tattoo, just 10 starred, just and they're epic with no good potential, but hoping to get a pat mark and hoping to maybe make one of them a meso gear item, but they're not a big priority because I'm strapped for mesos right now.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, nice shoe flame.
Yeah, shoe flame's really good.
It's pretty juicy. Earring. Ding, dun, dun, dun. Do you have any reinforced pendants?
No, because I've been doing Helix, and Helix only does the earring and belt.
Oh yeah,
right?
true. Yeah. You would have to buy those. Yeah, that's. Oh man, that's. Yeah, okay. My mind is sometimes still a little bit in the past. Holy shit, yeah. That's very different.
Yeah, I've never fought the old Gallux, but
Wow. Good.
yeah,
Good, because you would
when
hate
I
this
got
one.
it- yeah, I do. I mean, I still hate it. Like, I have PTSD from
Yeah.
doing Helix, but
The pink
yeah.
breath, like coming out of left field.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, a nice shoulder.
Yeah, I got that just from the Cube event, so I was
Very
pretty happy
solid.
with it.
Critical damage outline attacks here. Solid flame too. Yeah. Once you get the Lumi link in there and the mage link combined, you can. Once you get to that, you can definitely reroll your secondary for like boss and attack.
Yeah, so I do have the Lumi link already, level 2.
Okay.
and then one mage. So I think I checked if I took, so I have 91 or 92 visual
Mm-hmm.
if I put the hyperstats, and if I take off the one of the emblems or secondaries, I go to 87
Mm-hmm.
visual IED. And I'm not sure if that's better with an extra attack line or the 92 IED. So that's still something I'm
So the best way you can check that is if you do the WSE calculation, which kind of combines all of them. So so then basically you take your ID calculation, but removing all of the ID that you have between your weapon, your secondary, and your emblem, and then check how much damage and boss damage you have combined, and check how much percentage attack you have without, without the potential of your 3 items. And then you can
Yeah.
see how distribution of stats between those items would compare. They do, however, take like full use of the items. So like 3 useful lines, 3 useful lines, 3 useful lines. Like not, they don't account for like, oh, there's a line of dex in there somewhere. So it is pretty min-maxy.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that could give you some indication on how that would change.
Okay.
But considering that your total boss damage isn't super high, if your functional ID is like close to 95 and you lose a line of 35, then you go down to 92.
Yeah, so visual goes down from 93 to 87 around there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure how the visual, yeah, maybe visual would be down to 91-ish, yeah.
Functional,
Or
yeah.
sorry, functional, yeah.
Yeah.
Functional would be around 91-ish, yeah.
Anyway, yeah. You do want to keep that around, like, especially if you're gonna do Lotus, Damien, and higher. You do want to keep that around like 93. So I would, I would probably hold on. But once familiars come back, that can start shaking things up. So then, depending on how the familiar goes, the secondary is definitely like somewhere where damage can be gained. But
Yeah.
you'll have to kind of wait until we get a little bit more information on how exactly familiars are coming back. And that's going to be another month, so until then, we're probably focusing on some other stuff. So, what is the other stuff we're going to be focusing on? We have a 30% off event coming.
Yeah, Star Force, right?
Yep. So, ideal for 30% off is getting things to 15 stars. So,
Yeah, so I guess my hat,
a hat.
my superior belt, if I had it still.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't go. Yeah, I wouldn't do it on the reinforced belt. Yeah, or well,
No.
if you did, you could transfer hammer it over once you get the superior, right? So it's
Yeah.
not
Oh, yeah, that's
necessarily a loss.
What about the alien set? So I'm not sure how long I want to keep the alien set because it did give me a good damage boost with the set, but I don't know if Dominator Pendant would be better with boss set.
So wait, so your boss set is at a 1, 2, 3,
It's at
4,
4.
4 set now. So 2 pendants would be at a 6.
But I used to have the 2 pendants, but it just alien set gave me so much more damage.
Yeah, no. I get that. The 50 attack is juicy.
Yeah.
Because you can even get the 7 set bonus for the 10% IED, right?
Yeah, exactly. I can't fit that in anywhere.
No. I guess you're just waiting until...
Gollux.
Yeah, just waiting until you get Gollux. How are you doing with
Yeah.
coins? Like, can you buy one of the pieces soon?
So I've been doing Helix every day with a friend, a good friend of mine. I soloed Helix once, and then I never want to do that again because it took 18 minutes.
18? Yeah, okay, that's quite a while.
Yeah,
18
that
minutes
was
of
I had
hell,
like
too.
yeah, I had like 3 mil range at that time. Honestly, I wish I recorded it because it would have been. It's like a cool achievement for me. But after that, I've just been duoing it with a good friend of mine who hops on his one of his mules. Helps me. Takes like 5 minutes for us, and I have 250 coins. Oh, 345. Wow, I didn't even realize. Yeah, 345.
Yeah, you get like 25 to 30 per day extra, so like in a week you could get over 200, like around 200 a week, I think.
I'm just hoping to get the belt again eventually and the earrings possibly.
Yeah.
Um, to just support, maybe they'll pull through. So who knows?
Yeah. Okay. 'Cause I think it's mainly. I think it's gonna be mainly your So so it's definitely your hat, and then you could do the belt, so you could transfer hammer that over, right? And then your Sweetwater Iron Face.
Yeah.
If you can get all of
Um,
those to 15.
yeah. Get those to 15. And do you think it would be a good investment to get more meso gear with one of those? Because I'm at like 60% mesos.
Yeah, I would always let it like depend on the roll. Like if you happen to roll Mezzo and maybe some stat with it, then you just keep that.
Gotcha.
If you would ever go over 100 with whatever you roll, then you just roll one of the pieces that has. But then you always look holistically at all of your accessories, right? Like all of your rings. Then the pendants are still like at epic, so those aren't really gonna factor in there.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering if the upgrade. You're losing 50 attack. You're getting boss flames in return. These are like 25 base stat though, which is already higher.
Yeah, I think I would consider going back to boss set if I ever get a Dominator pendant, which just has never dropped for me. But until then, the alien set.
Yeah, that's got better good set. Yeah, that's got a low drop rate. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
tricky. Man, since these are level 180 items, I wonder if considering the. There's a mosquito here. I wonder if getting those to like past 15, because they're gonna stick with you for a while until you can afford the superior stuff.
Yeah, at least the pendants for sure. Cause the earring I might hopefully get a drop, but
Hopefully. Man, it's so slim though. Holy shit. I've gotten one drop now, and I've done quite a few helixes. It's I mean they are that good, right? So
yeah,
that's why it's going to take that long.
Well, I think my friend got both in 1 week.
Wow.
And then never got it again. But he was carrying another friend.
Yeah.
So the other friend got both in 1 week, and then he's not gotten any drops since. So he's unlucky for him.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah,
that's why you gotta set up that loot distribution ahead of time.
Yeah. His agreement was you get the drops, I'll take the coins, and then for
and
1 week it was like, oh crap, all the drops came.
Insta regret, yeah.
Like, just kidding, yeah, damn.
Okay, just kidding, let's switch. And then no drops anymore, and then the other guy's like, yes,
Yeah.
I got all the coins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it always goes. I would say depending on. So how much money is that? What are we looking at? Because you were making like like 2 bill a week.
Yeah, like 2 bill a week with all the hard bosses I solo and Maple Tour and Ursus, and then when I farm grind, I make around 300 mil an hour without Legion coupon.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's pretty good.
And I get to level up, so that's the added bonus for using totems.
Gotta see if we can make some rough estimation on what you want to spend on on Star Forcing. What do you have on your hat? Like 12, 15, 30 off. Oh, how are you with like backups for your stuff? They have a bunch of Dinero's backup and a bunch of CRA pieces backup.
So I solo CRA / carry sometimes every week, so I have quite a few pieces. Looks like I have like 30 pieces of every one of them. Yeah, 30 pieces roughly. Okay, so that's quite a few backups if I need them. And Dinero's, I am at like 300, so that's not enough to buy the other pendant or the earrings yet, but
Mm-hmm.
close enough to buying uh extra tattoos or monocles. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, flaming your weapon. Yeah, I wouldn't go. I guess I wouldn't go past your current Star Force on the pendants. I don't know. It's kind of like hit or miss. I think. I wonder if it makes a huge difference. Like if it gets you to the point where you can start soloing Helix and feel way more confident in that,
Yeah.
then it would be worthwhile, right?
Yeah.
Because then you wouldn't have to be like dependent on someone else, and you just go through the boss quicker.
Yeah. I mean, I still have PTSD from that first solo. I'm like, I literally, yeah, it was like traumatizing, but felt really good. But I haven't tried it since, so maybe
Yeah.
work towards that eventually.
Because it's not that expensive, right? If you look at the calculator, it's not like the pendants are level 180, so that'll be a bit more expensive. They're at what, 12 now? Yeah, so that'd be like almost half a bill to get it from 12 to 15.
Okay.
Oh,
I
but
have
that's
been
no
very
safeguard though.
unlucky
Yeah,
though.
the problem is
I have been really unlucky with Star Force.
if you hit the safeguard, it's like almost 900 mil each.
Yeah, damn. Because
And
I actually had a 14-star Fafnir, and it took me 600 mil to get to 15 stars. So, pretty unlucky.
yeah,
Star Forcing.
it's only one Star Force away or 200. Like it's one of the two.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
that was with the sauna. So, do I want to safeguard up to 15?
yeah. So that'll depend on if you have the backups, right?
Okay, okay.
So items that you well, you pretty much already have your 17 Star Force, so that's like very solid.
Yeah.
I guess there's a bunch of stat you can gain from your shoes still.
Shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like 16% dex just waiting for you there.
Yeah, I've been trying to re-roll that to legendary, so that's why the potential is kind of just
I see.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
30% off Star Force hat, Iron Face, belt.
Okay.
Stop there. Then cubing, shoe, and then later secondary, depending on where you're at. And then your pants and your hat. Keep CRA at unique longer than you would want, and focus on basically everything else until everything else is like 2-line useful, at least.
And
then like CRA on the to legendary and so on and so forth. You'll probably have your eye in your face already at legendary at that point. You said you're like hoping for a Papulatus mark. Definitely keep hoping for a Papulatus mark, but don't count on it.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
There's people who've been running every single day since it came out who are at like 60, 70 runs and haven't gotten it yet with like full drop rate stuff. So it's really, really RNG. And like bad RNG, I mean by that. Your flames in general on most of your stuff is pretty good. I definitely see some improvement. Like flaming your weapon is definitely like that's a lot of damage improvement as well.
Yeah, first for me, and then everything else I can see some improvements, but most of them are around tier 5s, tier 6s. Some of them, yeah.
Are you working on souls as well? Because like your soul on your weapon could also be a nice boost for boss damage. For example, if you had like a 7% boss damage there, that could be nice.
Souls. I mean, I have like 3 Damien souls. That's it, and then I'm saving the rest of my Vellum and Queen for a mag event because the sickness one isn't bad because it helps me solo Pino just for the summer.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but like so Chaos Queen would also do that, and Chaos Vellum would also do that. Magnificent Queen, Magnificent Vellum, Magnificent Magnus, and Magnificent Queen would all also do that. They were all also summons. So you wouldn't lose that ability, but you would gain the possibility of getting like a nice flame bonus.
Yeah.
Are you doing like daily hard daily normal Magnus as well?
Yeah, I basically do all the bosses. I think you have like a checklist that I just follow through.
Yeah.
Nmag, Ranmaru, Hard Von Leon, Npap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or are you doing
Or
all of
yeah,
those big crystal ones? Yeah, okay. So then you end up with
yeah.
a bunch of soul shards, or you're waiting for a magnificent soul. Okay, that's good. That's good. Just
Uh-huh.
double checking on that. Yeah, you got the 5 set. So wait, so technically the bow gives you 80% boss damage, I guess, because you also get the set bonus, right? So if you
Yeah,
unequip that one, you
30 set, 30 base. Yeah, it gives me 80 out of the 100 I have.
yeah,
Oh god.
that's
Oh
pretty
god.
crazy. Yeah. Well,
Gotta take off my bow.
that's the power of the weapon, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully that'll go to like 90, right? And then maybe even to 100. So if you combine the tier of the flame and the soul, maybe it can even give you up to 100%. And if it wasn't a 20% line, it could go even above that.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a huge source. And then your secondary source is usually your secondary weapon. But then yeah, the links, and then the once you get your legion bigger, you can go like a legion
Yeah.
clump of like 40% there. That'll be really big as well.
Yeah.
Then the big thing is just going to be getting all of those things to 17. So you'll want to wait for a 5, 10, 15 event and then get all of those things to 17. And then if you have enough backups, I just wouldn't safeguard. But if you're going to stick at 17 for a while, maybe safeguarding 16 to 17 just to avoid catastrophe.
Uh-huh.
If you've
Yeah.
already said that you tend to be a little bit unlucky there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be. So then basically the same items that we just mentioned. And then hopefully by that time... and then you'll add like your shoe. Where's your cape actually? Am I constantly scrolling over that, or is your cape not in here?
I guess it didn't go through. Whoops.
I think I'm missing your cape. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one I
it
was
looks like you
missing.
are. Yeah, okay, so I can just tell you right now my cape is Absolab cape, 7% dex. Yeah, I'm missing it there. My bad. Yeah,
Okay.
it's Epic cape, 7% dex. Flame is 36 dex and 3%. So it's a little bit weaker on the flame.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And the Star Force?
15.
15. Okay. Yeah. So then you would add the shoe. Yeah. Obviously, so add the cape to where
Cubing.
we'll talk about the cubing. Yeah. So like even
Gotcha.
before the shoe, and then this will go into the big bunch up to 17, and then the main thing that will like your pendant situation is going to be the main meme, the main big meme. Hopefully by then you
Wait,
can afford some rings.
yeah.
And you have
Or
Meister, right?
I have a Meister ring. It's nothing on it. It's epic and no star. 10 stars. Yeah.
Okay, so so add that one to the going up to 15 list, and then
Okay.
yeah.
When you say the Star Force, so I Star Force my Sweetwater eye and face, and then am I gonna keep my boss set eye and face? Do I want to get those to legendary or work on my Sweetwater?
So what I typically do is I keep the Zakum Iron Face for a long time. I get them to legendary with like a line of mezzo or drop, and then hopefully line of stat. But if they don't, then that's whatever. And then I keep that to make money while I'm training. And then when I get to the point where I know that I'm gonna get my monocle and the tattoo past 15, that's when they really start getting way better than the Zakum Iron Face, because then once you go 15 to 17, the extra weapon attack, it just blows the Zakum Iron Face out of the water.
Gotcha.
And then you also get those to legendary because there's level 160 gear. There's a lot of free stat in there. It's basically, with not too many cubes, there's typically 20 or 23% stat in there. And then that'll give you a huge boost in your damage. An even bigger boost because the accessories before that had almost no range, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and as long as you keep doing your arcane power dailies and everything, then you should be looking at 6 mil range in not too long. Then the IED, yeah. I hope that familiar is can help you out to kind of like round out the stats that you need.
Yeah. I've never used familiar. I used it for like a couple days, and then there was that
Yeah.
huge weekend where the boogies dropped, so I got like 300 of those cards.
Yeah.
Um, so hopefully, yeah, hopefully I can get something good when it's back. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how they deal with, stacked familiars or people already having a bunch of them that weren't unintended drop rate, or how they classify unintended or intended. We'll have
yeah.
to kind of wait and see.
I guess like last question, I'm just looking at
Mm-hmm.
quick question is my inner ability. So I have it with
Yeah.
mesos right now just because I don't have much mesos, but I'm trying to get it. But when do you think suggest I should start rolling for my prime recommended
Yeah.
lines?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, like having Mesoptane, if you don't need attack speed, having Mesoptane is probably the best thing you can have. And that's
Yeah.
great. Because if you don't have attack speed and you're missing out on mobility and bossing because you're like stuck, you're not optimizing your damage when you're training or bossing. Like attack speed is just like really good to have. Because if you don't need attack speed, you know what your ultimate inner ability is, right? That you're going for.
Well, so I could have attack speed. So my attack speed doesn't cap to 0. I think 2 is the best because uh I'm a normal attack speed, so I'm at 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I get 4 to boost. Booster gets me to 4. Then I need 2 more from any source. So it could be inner ability, monster park pot, or DSI. So I think I just choose 2 out of those 3. Um,
Yeah, so I think what most people do is is green pot and DSI, right?
yeah, that might be. Yeah, I'd love to get DSI on my glove, because then I
that,
could just put it for auto buff on my pet.
that would be
There's no
nice. Yeah.
cooldown. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that would be perfect. Um,
But I
but
think
yeah,
your glove is
other
already
than
good
that,
where it is. Yeah.
yeah, I think inner ability, I think boss, crit. You mentioned crit would be great.
Yeah.
Any attack lines, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Boss crit attack is what they say here as well. That sounds about right. So to go about that, you would want to circulator until you get 20 crit, either on second or third line, and that's going to be like rough because
Okay.
crit is very rare.
Dang.
Then
Okay.
once you have that, you lock that in, and you lock your line in, and then you try to roll for your boss. That's going to be the way to
First
go.
line.
Yeah, and then you try to roll boss on top, and that's not going to
But
be
you,
guaranteed 20, but I think that's 15 to 20.
yeah,
If I'm
because I
not
have
mistaken.
19 mesos obtained, and that
Yeah.
just triggers me so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
yeah, but it could also
Celtic.
be 18, right? That's how I always look
Okay.
at it. Yeah,
Gotcha. Fair enough.
yeah. Or it could have been 17, 16, or 15. I think it goes as low as well. So all things considering, it's the second highest. I know that people like to look at like how much is missing until it's perfect, but I tend to like look at, well, the average would be like between 17 and 18, and you hit 19, so it's pretty good for legendary, right? It's above average quite a bit.
But
So But
do
yeah,
you
I would
think
hold that for a while.
yeah.
So the main thing is, what is the cost going to be to roll into that boss damage after you circulate into the crit, right? Like how
Gotcha.
much honor experience are you going to need there? Are you doing dojo weekly to get some honor experience supplemental income up?
Yeah. Most recently, I got like 12K from Dojo,
No, that's pretty
so
good.
that gets me pretty high rank. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
nice.
good
That's
for me.
nice. And you're doing a lot of bossing, so you're probably building on the honor experience quite a bit.
Yeah, I do
Um,
basically every boss possible.
yeah, that's good. I guess I would. I guess I wouldn't really touch the. So if you want to know, like on my arc, I still have what you have as well. Like I have 19% meso-obtain and then 15% drop rate and 21 attack. That's what I have on my arc at level 260.
Okay.
Because I feel like if you don't need the attack speed, as long as you know you're going to be training, you're just going to be making more money than the other guy, as long as it doesn't ruin your kill speed. Fuck. I tried to get the mosquito again. I missed it. So there's no harm in like keeping this for a long time. It's not to say that you couldn't gain a lot from getting the boss damage, but it'll also... So the bad thing you could do is like rush to try to get the boss damage and then use a lot of honor experience up in that regard, and then basically push back getting your perfect final inner ability even further. because getting honor experience is just a slow process.
Yeah.
So buying out honor experience medals as well from event shops like we have now, that's also a pretty good idea to just supplement that. In general, I would say once you have like 2.5 mil honor experience, that might be like a good time to like really try to go for it.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot far down the road. Yep. Sure.
Until then, your Mesoptane is fine because it's not gonna ruin your attack speed. So I think you can keep that for quite a while.
All right. Thanks.
All right, I think you had like general progression with stuff. Yeah, for Lucid, like just try that shit out. Like even just go into the boss fight all by yourself and just see and just get demolished by attacks and just see what happens. The great thing now about testing is that even if you go in with buff freezers, you don't consume them. So that makes it a little bit more friendly towards doing practice modes.
Yeah, the buff freezers. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I never use buff freezers.
Okay.
Even when I do Lomian runs, just because I'm like I'm a cheapskate.
Yeah, no, I'm like that too. Like, it's good to get used to not using them, so that when you do have them, you're like, it feels
that's
more
my
valuable.
thought process.
Yeah,
Yeah, and a lot of times I can get to like Lotus phase 3 without dying, and at that point I'm just like, my other friends will carry me to phase 3. Yeah.
You can torrent through the laser, right, in phase 1?
Yeah, so I've been doing that. I've been trying to tell my other Pathfinder friends to do that, and they just don't want to. I'm like, okay, I'll have teleport then.
Yeah, just make sure that it's like perfectly vertical, so you know, so it's like minimal vertical thickness, and then it should be pretty. Because I could do that on my arc as well. I don't know if you saw me do that today. Oh no, you're probably sleeping.
No. Yeah, I was sleeping. I was like up at 4 a.m. last night doing the screenshots. Yeah.
Yeah, like the Scarlet Dash that Arc has. Oh, that's one of the characters for your list, by the way. Arc is like good
I have it
damage
written
buff.
down, for the damage. Yeah.
Yeah. The Scarlet Dash you have kind of like works like an air teleport as well. So if you jump and use it, it kind of works the same as the torrent basically. So you also dash through the laser or through the sickles of Lucid. Works like that as well. I don't know if you can use torrent through the Lucid sickles as well. It might be that also works, but you might have to ask some Pathfinders. Are you in Are you in the Discord? Not just of course you're in my Discord, but like Maple Central, and then also in the Pathfinder Discord there.
Yeah, I'm in the Pathfinder Discord.
Okay, yeah. So like specific questions like that, you can always ask there, and there's probably also always some people who can help you out. Or you could just, but because if you do a practice run, you might not get to phase 2, and then you might not get to test it. That's one thing I really hope they roll out in KMS this summer. Is if you do practice mode, you can choose which stage of the boss fight you can practice. I hope they implement that.
Nice. That would be nice, cause I mean even Lotus, I need practice phase 3.
Yeah, like when the platforms go. Exactly. It's a lot of the times
like, takes me 10 minutes to get there.
Yeah, and then we all have stuff to do, so if you could just like go into phase 3 immediately and start practicing there, I think that would be a really nice addition to the practice mode. I think the freezer one is already pretty nice because those boss fights you might do with freezers anyway, so you can get to feel what it's like to have them on without just the practice run on Lucid costing you like 45 mil or something because you have 10 lives, and it's
Gotcha.
can get pretty expensive. Cool. Is there anything you think we could spend some more attention to, or you think you're good?
We hit the main ones. I'm like, you've made me excited to work on my Legion now, so that's
yeah, I noticed there was like a lot of individual characters you're not looking forward to, and then it can make the whole block of Legion feel very like maybe I don't really need it. Like, and don't get me wrong, like you could do it like without your Legion, but it helps you just so much. And once you start snowballing, every single character is going to be so much more fun because it's so much stronger. And you're just going to be flying through the map.
What I've recently been doing with Legion is like I just get my friend and we like play our noobs, like slowly level it, but it's still more fun. So like that'll make me more interested in my Legion. But that's exciting what you talked about, just getting my board up. Cubing and Star Force, those I have a list of those. I think I think we've hit most things, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you won't get to this point like within a month or something. But if you look at the Legion board that I have, right,
Yeah.
like this, and then you hear the member bonus. Like if you just scroll through this, like every new
Yeah.
character gets all of that. And then you get
Jeez.
the thing where you have the level 2 Ice Lightning Mage hitting 8k crits on Maple Island, and then
Yeah.
that does
Like
translate
doing
to a lot of value.
basic attacks and hitting like thousands of lines. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of crazy because I'm doing like more damage than a funded level 80 Hermit would like back in 2007 or something. It's kind of crazy, and you're like just a level 2 Explorer on Maple Island with a basic attack. It's kind of
Yeah.
nuts, yeah. Yeah, and the grid bonus doesn't look like huge numbers, but or like not a lot of numbers, but the numbers are very impactful, right?
Yeah, look, especially the boss and IED. That looks like
Yeah, the
it
big
gives you a
chunks of
lot more.
IED are very high
Big chunks,
value.
yeah.
Yeah, man, yeah. I think I think you got a lot of work to do, but you have a better overview on where to go now.
Yeah, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this with me.
Definitely. All right, man. I'll see you in chat. Best of luck.
Yeah, see you around. Take care.
Yo,
Bye.
thanks. Bye.